Listen, boundaries are healthy, they are necessary, and they are completely appropriate. When you respond no, that's a complete sentence. Hey, 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 I am so glad that you're back with me for another entry into this wellness vlog. Let's get well. I kind of feel like I missed a week. My weeks are kind of jamming together. I have been pretty busy with just a lot of life stuff, but I don't want to put this down because I actually enjoy doing this. It's kind of fun for me. So I may pause, but I'm never going to go unless there's some external forces working against me that I cannot contain or control. But you have me for the duration. I am here today to talk about a topic that is very important to me. And I feel that I am the queen of this topic because I have pretty much mastered it. There may be a little bit that I need to finish mastering, but for the most part, yeah, man. And we're talking about setting boundaries. So as I've gotten older, as I have gotten in touch with all of my feels and been able to identify some of the external factors that play a role in how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling overextended or overwhelmed or just, whatever. I'm not saying that boundary setting solves all of that, but it played a big part in that. So setting boundaries is definitely something that helps you with your emotional and mental well-being. And so I do want to touch on that. I'm not going to give you a long, lengthy list of things you can do, but I will highlight some of the areas in which I take seriously and I practice on a very regular basis. So let's get started. I will say that I had an opportunity to read a blog by Lisa Cataldo, and she actually detailed out about 5 different boundaries. And I never really looked at it that way. I just kind of, put myself here and everything else there, and I get to cherry pick what I want to indulge in, how much I want to indulge in it, that kind of thing. That's kind of how I framed up the definition or what boundaries mean to me. But I was very intrigued by the fact that she did have 5 different types of boundaries. They kind of all tie in together, especially when I look at them. For me, they kind of all tie in together. But let's get into it. So relationship is one, and that really goes hand in hand with who you interact with and how you express yourself to that person. There's time. How much time are you willing to spend in said thing or with said person? There is material. That goes hand in hand with your money, your belongings, and your space. Very important one. Then there's relationships. I said that already. I'm sorry. Then there is intellectual. So your thoughts and your ideas. And then of course, there's the last one would be more around how much you're willing to share with people, your personal feelings with people. And so I would say all of those boundaries to me really all tie in together. People are going to take what you're willing to give. That's like the bottom line. If you are going to be like this, be known as this giver, guess what? The taker will for sure always come with their hands out. That's just the nature of it. I will say that it is important for you to set boundaries, because if you don't set boundaries, you have to understand that the takers are not setting any. So, and this is not just about relationships. This goes with work, just your personal life, any and everything. So, you give people a little bit, they want to take all of that. So it is very important for you to, I would say first, identify what you're feeling. and pinpoint the root cause of that. So we go through emotional, things all the time. There's anxieties, there are frustrations that we deal with. And not all of it comes from you. We put it on ourselves, but sometimes you have to submit to your feelings and tend to your feelings to really have a better understanding of what is causing your feelings. And sometimes, again, it's like external factors that's causing you to have anxiety or feel, a way about certain situations. So I would say first, identify what you're feeling, find the root cause of it, and tend to your feelings. Tend to yourself. One thing I always say, and I mentioned it earlier, is that the answer no can be the end of the sentence. You don't really have to feel as if you need to give an explanation. Now, if you want to give an explanation as to why, let's just say it's not something like my car broke down or I lost my keys. It's something like you just want to be home, right? You don't want to do anything. You want to be home and just sit and read, or you just want to meditate or whatever. You don't really have to explain that. You don't have to feel obligated, I should say, to explain that. You very well can, and nothing is wrong with that. But I want you to know that the answer no is, in fact, a complete sentence. It can be, if you will allow it to be. One other thing that's very important is understanding that you have to be consistent. If you're going to set boundaries, setting boundaries require consistency. So you can't set them today and then be loosey-goosey tomorrow. And so that inconsistency would make a person feel as if they can tap you on that shoulder again. So I would say the number one thing really is to identify. But the next thing I would say is to be consistent. If you're going to set them. And set them in stone. Unless you want to be flexible, you want to be loosey-goosey, and then that's you. But I honestly would suggest being consistent. One thing about me is that, and I can tell you this with assurity, maybe when I was younger, I may have had people that I had in my life that I may overshared with. But today, in the last, decade, there isn't one person in my life that knows every aspect of my life. And that is very intentional. That is on purpose. That is really to protect me, protect my peace, and not to open myself up to vulnerabilities. That was a mouthful, to others. And so, there are different acquaintances and different friends, for different things. There isn't one person that I'm going to talk business with, personal stuff with, work with, kids with, all of that stuff, with. And that's just something that, again, I'm intentional with, and I make sure that I stick to that. Now, I will say that people may assume they know everything about me based off of my characteristics, my cultural beliefs, based off of conversations we may have shared together. They may assume my social media posts. That's a good one. They may assume they know, but I can guarantee you it's all an assumption because they don't have any hardcore anything on me. Again, this is intentional. I do that on purpose. So all you have is your imagination, and I am okay with that. If you want to imagine certain aspects about me, that's okay. That means you are very creative. You have tapped into your creativity, and nothing is wrong with that. But I can tell you that you're not going to get that. And that leads me to, I kind of mentioned it before, but even with your social media, set boundaries. Social media does not have to be the 100% reflection of your 100% life. Like, do you really need to post all of your ups and your downs and your in-betweens? I see a lot of people, and this is not a dig on anyone, but you can kind of tell with some of the people that I follow, maybe on Instagram, or I am friends with on, I know it's different lingos for different socials, friends with on Facebook. You can kind of tell, their current situations or their current moods even by their subliminal messages. Like, I don't even post stuff like that. This is just me. This is just me and my boundaries. I could be going through some hell, but I am not going to post subliminals, about the next person who's probably reading it, who you're talking about or whatever. That's just not me. Again, it's a part of you tapping into your imagination. You don't know who I am dating, who I'm not dating, any of that stuff on my social media. I am very intentional of what I post, and I post what I want to share. That is boundaries work. This is a big one. And I'm talking about whether you're either in the office or you're working from home. I have probably been working from home for about 4 years now. And I still make sure that even though, in that virtual world, you still want to be able to be accessible and show that, you're present and you are a team player, I still set boundaries. And I do it kind of the same way how I would if I was in the office. Now, when I used to be in the office, I didn't always set boundaries. I would allow the talker in the office to come to my cubicle and talk me to death, or come to my desk with come to my office. The office door could be closed and still have a need to knock on the door. And I would just say, I'm on a call, or I'm preparing something for a call, that kind of thing. It is so important that you are not allowing yourself to be 100% accessible to everyone. It is. I am in no means saying that you should not be a team player. You should not be present at work. I don't just mean your body, but present. I'm not saying that at all, but you have to protect yourself. And one thing I do know is that if people get an idea of you and they feel that they have, again, accessibility, or they can tap into you for any and everything, they're going to do it. If you share with people all the skills you have, whether it's in Excel or in Access or whatever platform that you may frequently use at work, and you show them that you are the guru, even if it's not even in, a part of your role, guess what? You show them that, they're going to 9 times out of 10 tap you on your shoulder because they know they don't have to learn. They can just come to you. So there is boundaries in any and everything. I will say this, going back to the be consistent, very important. You do, and I'm kind of jumping around here because the ideas come to me as I talk, so forgive me for that. But being consistent also includes friendships and relationships that are just cultivating, that are just forming. I will say this, and I'll use relationships as an example, but this goes for friendships as well. When you first meet someone and you're forming and you're building a relationship or a friendship, it is very important that whatever boundaries you intend to set later on, you set them now. Because, and I know how easy it is, especially in the beginning, to, you want to talk all day and you want to talk all night and you want to share this and share that and all of that good stuff because you want to get to know the other individual. I get all of that, but is that sustainable? Is that what you want the entire, do you want that person to feel like, oh, if I text now at 6:05, I expect her to text me back by 6:07 because she's always responding back to me so fastidiously. Do you want people to see that? Do you want people to get that impression of you? Yeah, there are going to be some people in your life, your family members, your mom, people, like your aunties or your uncles or whatever, that you do, that you will make a concerted effort to be responsive and respond to them. But do you want to open yourself up to, like that, to every single person? That is the question. And I will say that it cannot be, sometimes it's not sustainable. You're not able to be everything at all times to everyone. So yes, you can choose who you would be able to do that with, That's fair to say. If you have a best friend and and I, you know what, this texting thing is a touchy subject because, and I will admit that, because you never want anyone to feel, I never want anyone to feel as if I am ignoring them or they are not important to me at that moment or whatever. Because for the most part, when people text you, they need something, I think you just need to know who that individual is, because I have had people in my life who text me and they don't want nothing. They don't want nothing. They never want anything. And they just want to, just beyond just saying hi, they just want to take up space and time. And I don't always have that. I am 100% I'm a mother. I am a whole human who have other things going on than to sit around and wait for you to text. But, I am not suggesting at any bit that you should ignore people. And I'm not talking about ignoring. Setting boundaries, and maybe you don't respond the minute they hit send and it transmit to your phone, but maybe you give yourself some time when you're free, and you're able to give them a response that is more of a thoughtful response, and respond to them then. Emails when you're at work. Do you need to stop what you're doing? I used to be so guilty of this. I could be working on something, but I hear that ding, and I gotta go look at the email, and then I want to respond, and then it's so easy to lose track of what you need to get done that day because you're spending your day responding. I am not saying not to respond. Hear me out. I'm just saying that you need to protect what you have going on and get that done. And when you do, you just respond, to the person later. The same thing with instant message at work. This new technology where people can have so much access to you. It drives me crazy. All day long you get pings. And you're at work, you kind of feel obligated to respond quickly, and you just ain't got it in you. Sometimes you gotta just if you're on a call, be on a call. You don't have to respond while you're on a call because you're supposed to be being present on the call. So boundary setting can go long and wide, okay? I just want you to know that. Another thing while you're at work, I would say very important. Again, we're talking about that being consistent, and we're talking about not setting a precedence for something that you're not able to sustain. But giving out your phone number, your personal phone number, your cell phone, your home phone, whatever, is another one. We sometimes fall prey to that, especially if you start a new job and you have a new manager. You might feel compelled to if you have any questions or if you need anything, please just call me or text me, and you want to give people that allowance, but some people just don't know how to take it, and not abuse it. I have seen where coworkers, and this is just recently, have had our manager literally text them while we're on a call, we're on a professional meeting, a business meeting, and they would get text messages telling them what to say or speak up and ask them this and things like that. Number one, wow. Talk about micromanaging. But number two, that's a little invasive. I'm here, I'm working. There is no reason for you to tap into my personal phone. That is you have to set boundaries. Yes, our phones for the most part today is all unlimited, right? It's unlimited text, unlimited calls. So you really can't say, they're going to pay my bill. It's already paid. It's unlimited. But you can still set boundaries and not feel compelled and I even tell people that report to me, any team that I've led, I make sure that if it's an emergency, will I contact you? I've done it during Harvey. That was a prime example. I've texted my team literally every single day when we had Hurricane Harvey to check on them and their families. We weren't working. We were all off because we were displaced. So something like that was out of the care, out of my heart, and it was an emergency situation. And if you can't find them, especially if you have people who work in other cities or other states than you, and sometimes, wires are crossed, you're on a meeting and you honestly don't know where they are. I've had to do that. But just like leisurely and just, just being invasive and being, always doing it. No, I've never done that, and I will never be that person. I'll never be that leader because I don't want anyone to do it. We have a time frame in which we are at work, and we should utilize that time. We are at work a long time. Our days, especially mine, are very long. And so you have more than enough time to reach out to me. And if it's an emergency, don't call me. Call 911, please. Don't call me if it's an emergency. And so, yeah, giving out your phone number. I will say, in places where there is natural disasters, well, actually, nowadays, everywhere is prey to natural disasters, hurricanes, mudslides, forest fires. So I was going to say, your company typically have a system set up internally where you can enter your emergency contact information and your email, your personal email, and your cell phone, and maybe even a contact person in case there's an emergency. So if there is an emergency, the manager has access to get that. You don't need to feel compelled on the first day on the job. Here's my cell phone number. Call me if you need me. Unless it's a culture that you work with and you're okay with that culture, then who am I? But I am just telling you what I do and what I don't do. My boss today, yes, she has my number, but I can tell you one thing, she don't abuse it. She don't. So, that's one thing. And then this is a very important one. I'm going to say, setting boundaries, people, is to be mindful. This is, again, this is what I do on how I set boundaries. With people that I work with, I do not swap socials. I don't do it. And I ain't gonna do it. Okay, so let me explain what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, when I'm working with someone, like we're currently working together, we're on the same team, I report to you or you report to me, or, somehow our teams are neighboring partners. You ain't getting my Facebook. You ain't getting my Instagram. You ain't getting my Twitter. You ain't getting my Facebook. You ain't getting my Instagram. Okay. You're not getting that information. Because who I am at work, well, it's kind of the same person who I am not at work. But there are pieces of me when I'm at work that you don't need to see in my personal life. Okay. My political beliefs, my religious beliefs, or, my social justice beliefs, or, my personal business, even though I say I don't really share too much, but I do post my kid once in a while and things like that. And on the flip side, I don't want to necessarily see yours. I don't need to know that on the weekends you get, stinky drunk and you don't know how to act and you're around. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. If you are a person who is a hardcore, I won't say his name, our previous president, and you have these, all these strong beliefs and you're rocking hard, I don't need to see it. I work with you. We work well together in a professional setting. I don't need to see that. And I don't want to see it. I will say though that sorry. Now, if you are someone that we rocked well together at work and we got along and we just meshed really well and we are good co-workers and have a good functioning relationship, I would say, once I leave and I move on to another role, another company or whatever, and I'm leaving, I have done that. And I haven't regretted that since. I have swapped social medias with people that I've worked with once I was exiting. And not all my socials, I just choose one It's either, well, two. It's either LinkedIn or it may be Facebook. So I would say, if you are a person who is looking to create boundaries to protect your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, keep certain relationships, confined to certain situations, not being overly accessible, not overextending yourself to everyone. I'm just having a good old time over here, but I would just say, be very mindful, be in tune with what is triggering you or make you feel away. And again, tend to your feelings. It is very important. And, I would also just stress that, I guess making sure you understand who you can do certain things with. I wouldn't necessarily, again, certain people like your parents and things like that, you probably wouldn't be so stringent on, but, knowing who, I guess cherry picking those individuals that, need boundaries or, trigger you, people who drain your energy. If you find that you get around certain people and your whole persona just changes, you feel maybe a disdain or you just feel uncomfortable around, whatever, then, boundaries are important. Maybe you limit your time spent. I'm not saying you just cut people off. I don't do that necessarily, but I might limit the time that I respond to you, or I limit the time that I spend with you. So anyway, I hope I hope that you understood what I was saying. I hope that I was clear and concise, but most importantly, I hope that it helped. If you are someone that didn't even realize that boundaries was my problem or having a boundaryless, life, I hope this helped, because that is so important. It's not in a way to be mean, but it is in a way to be selfish. And it is okay to be selfish sometimes. Please understand that. Yeah, it's okay to be selfish. I had to understand that, and it's okay. You don't know what everybody is going through. So if someone doesn't respond to you right away, and I'm talking to myself here, I have one cousin. She knows who she is. She might take forever to respond when she know I need something. But I had to understand that just because I need her, I reached out to her, does not mean that she has to respond to me right away. Who am I? Who am I? I could be such a clown. But in all seriousness, thank you so much again for rocking with your girl today on this topic about boundaries. And honestly, I really hope that the information was received well. I am not trying to dig on anyone for what they currently do, and I am not trying to make monsters out of you. I am honestly wanting you to understand that it is okay to be selfish sometimes for your own well-being. I always say to people that it is important, you've heard this before on planes, to put on your oxygen mask first before you're able to be there for someone else. And this is real. This is a real thing. Once you push that pause on that relationship or that text message or that conversation you were having, you need to do what you need to do to replenish yourself, restore yourself, get yourself more renewed so that you can unpause that button and go back to that person or situation or email or whatever and give it your best and give it your all. I think it's very important. And I had to learn that also on the flip side, that people don't owe me a response right away. Now, when I text you, because I don't text a lot of people, I got like a handful of people. But when I text you, it's because I need something. But I had to understand that who am I? Honestly, like you don't, no one owes you and you don't owe anyone. We are all our own individual people, and you don't know what the next person is going through, and they may need that moment to hit the reset button. So give them that and give them that grace to do that. This is your girl, Jay. I am so happy again to keep bringing this content to you. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope you like it. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope to see you again soon. I always give you a dance in the song, so let me see what I got. I ain't got a beat in my head yet. Hold on. This is Jay. This is Jay, y'all. This is Jay. This is Jay, y'all. And I'm out. And I'm out. That don't really go, right? But we gonna go with it. And I'm out. And I'm out. Bye, y'all.